Friends, welcome to the first episode of Soul Food Wellness Stories. It's been quite some time since we have interacted. I think the last time was when we did our Back to Basics series last year in July, August. So this time we are bringing to you the other side of the spectrum, which is stories of people who have healed, who have moved ahead in their lives through spirituality and healing. A lot of people have been asking me that what is the whole premise behind doing these soul food wellness stories. Well, the idea is why the name soul food, because these are stories which we hope are something that nourishes your soul, something that touches your soul at some level. And these are stories of people who have used different spirituality tools to move ahead in life, be it their health, be it relationships, be it professional life, in any of their areas. So the whole idea behind this is that some of you out there will resonate with some part of the stories that we bring forward. Secondly, that you would believe that yes, there is hope, there can be something that can be done in our life to change our circumstances. And thirdly, hopefully get inspired to take that first step. So that is the whole idea behind introducing. And today we have Aditya as our first storyteller.
Hello, Deepti ji.
So it's
Thank
really
you.
my an honor to have Aditya on our first episode, because I think his is a journey which, though most of us may not resonate with the journey part itself, but I think the concept of pain, self-acceptance, self-love, and transitioning into something that who we truly are is a universal concept. So that's something that all of us will resonate with. So, to give a quick introduction to Aditya, he is a past life regression, hypnotherapy, family constellation therapist. He's a workshop facilitator who basically works in the area of gender identity, sexual abuse, sexual blockages, balancing of your masculine and feminine identity, and so many more topics in that area. Uh, and before I hand over to him or ask him to talk about himself, one of the beautiful things that he's done is he's written these small thank you notes and try to weave his story through them. So I would like to read the introduction to this story before we start. I'm going to just read that out because I think it's beautiful how he has started his poem. I am what I am because of all the things and people that have happened to me. I couldn't have come this far without their generous inputs. Everything they have done to and for me deserves a thank you. And that's why I choose to tell my story in thank you notes. That's so beautifully put, Aditya, a unique way to write your story. So, what inspired you to write these thank you notes to one and all people who supported you, people who didn't support you?
So, thank you very much, Deepti ji, first to give this opportunity to be with Healclinic and share my story. Because I feel that all of us have a story to share and we should share our story. It doesn't matter if the story is heard or not, but we
Right.
should share our story. I was trying to share my story from long, but you know that unforgiveness that happens to us in our heart, we don't let go of things. I was not able to do that,
Right.
but due to the blessings of my mentors and the wisdom that I received, I could let go of all the pain. I could heal myself, and then I
Right.
found that I'm left with gratitude and love.
Wow.
I don't have, yeah, I don't have any pains left in my heart, anything that is getting stuck anymore. So I could let go. And then when I look at my story, it is all gratitude and, thank you to everything that has happened to me and all the people and the masters, friends.
So, how was the
Yeah.
journey forgiving? Because forgiveness is not something that comes easily to all of us.
So I remember a quote by Rumi, and he says, keep breaking your heart until it opens. So, so for me, I resonated with that,
Okay.
and there were a lot of heartbreaks, but actually, they are not heartbreaks. They happen for us to open our hearts. They are not there to punish us, like how we know generally the law of karma. We have a negative idea. Nothing is there to punish us. It is there to open our hearts more and to make us more loving. So with each pain that we go through, it's actually an opening into love. It's actually finding the light.
Okay, that's a very deep thing. So, what helped you in this journey? I mean, were there people? What helped you in this journey?
I remember my father telling me to meditate because I was very disturbed. I
Mm-hmm.
was born with this gender identity disorder, and I was very confused about my gender during my teenage. When he saw me so disturbed, he said, "You should sit quietly." And he told me, "Look at the candle and sit." I started with Trataka,
Okay.
the candle gazing. And in that, nobody taught me anything, but something happened sitting with the candle. And then, when you start centering yourself, when you meet the right people, then I met my guide, Dr. Newton Kundavati, and I told him about my problems. And he guided me more into my heart. He said, "Follow your heart." That's the simple thing he said.
Okay.
And there was no looking back after that journey. It was all following heart. And following the heart, I could release all my pains, all my confusion, and I could come out of it.
Right. For those who have joined us and don't know Aditya's backstory, when he talks about gender confusion, uh, he was born as a female, but he always felt that something was amiss. If you could just few lines into that for people to understand more from where you're coming.
Right. So I was born in a biological female body, and I felt I was a male. So I was rejected by the society, and even my family members could not understand me. So there was a lot of rejection and aloofness in my journey. Then I had to go through my hard teenage, very lonely, sad. Somehow I got into an IT job. I was uh, like into I did a graduation with computers. So I was earning good with IT, but there was a big void in me. And this was the start of asking myself, like, what is it? What is gender? Like, what is a man? What is a woman? Who am I? So the deeper question emerged: who am I? And this question led into the spiritual journey. I started meditating and looking for the right teachings, the right masters. I came across books of Osho, then Mantak Chia, David Deda. Then I met Dr. Newton, whom I joined in 2012. I was his apprentice for the last 10 years. I have been working with him. And then 2014, I had to take a call on my body because my body was not keeping well. I was very sick, and somewhere the mind and the body was not resonating. So for people like us, we had to go through this gender surgery. I had to take a medical transition of, moving from my female gender into the gender which I belong to, which I felt always. And life was, I would say, 100%, 100 times more better after my surgery and the decision I took. And I could also understand few facts, the spiritual facts also, the past lives also came to me for me to understand why did I born in such condition.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, the lessons that you had to learn in this life was something that were related to your past lives.
Yes, I was related to my past life, and one of the higher purpose of being born into this thing is to bring uh, the masculine feminine energies together, and to also spread it to others who have lost uh, touch with their masculine feminine. So the broader purpose is to break the gender binary and come into oneness and understand that gender is one part. We are more than our gender. We are more than our bodies. We have a higher existence.
Right. Wow, that's so beautiful because we tend to look at masculine and feminine as male and female. But what we don't realize is that each one of us have both the parts, right? So tell me
Yes.
how the whole journey of acceptance was for you, because yours was a fight against gender, but most of us do have fights of acceptance in the society. It could be sexual orientation, gender, sometimes it could be even skin color. At times it is the choices that we make, whether in any kind of education, the religion to be followed, the life partner. We are always being constantly judged by the society around us for, for accepting who we are. So how was your whole journey in that acceptance area? So that's something I think we could all learn a lot from.
So acceptance is an internal journey.
Mm-hmm.
When I was doing my inner work, what I found was I was the one rejecting myself the most.
Okay.
I didn't have confidence. I didn't had acceptance of my own sexuality and gender. I was not clear. So when I was clear in the sense like I knew it inside, but I was not standing up for myself. I was not respecting myself. I was not loving myself. I was believing in what others were telling me. I believed my parents. They said something is wrong with you, and then the society said something is wrong with you, and then my teacher says something is wrong with you, and I started believing them that something is wrong with me, right? So the wrong, 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 it creates an imprint that you are wrong.
Right.
So somewhere deep, I believed I was wrong, and when I'm coming from a space where I feel I'm wrong, then whatever I am attracting, like we say that it's all mirrors. So I was facing a lot of judgment and rejection. But the moment I turned the table around and I looked at the entire dynamics, I said there is nothing to maybe, I understood why they said wrong and why I understood the whole big picture. And so there was nothing to blame myself, nothing to blame others. People are ignorant, people can be anything, but we all need to stand up for ourselves. So that inner acceptance comes when we take responsibility of ourselves.
That's a very powerful statement. That inner acceptance comes when we take responsibility of ourselves.
Yes,
Because we expect other people to take responsibility for us and we look for acceptance outside of us.
exactly.
So I think this is beautiful, and I think each one of us needs to do that, like, accept ourselves for who we are. Start respecting and loving ourselves. And that kind of changes the dynamics around us.
Exactly.
I know that's beautiful. In fact, guys, that's something that Aditya also teaches in his workshops. Very clear. There was a very interesting discussion that he had done recently on inner soulmates, where he spoke about, so you can talk about it, how he believes that soulmates do not exist outside of us.
So the word soulmates, when I first heard it, I thought, how can soul has a mate when soul is something so internal, and then we look for a soulmate outside. So soulmate has to be first inside. It's okay if we resonate with somebody and really feel a connection and a beautiful reflection happens. That's beautiful as well. But the looking for soulmate, the outside journey, I don't think, it's quite a journey with a lot of loopholes, and I see there is a lot of big market around it where, soulmates can be found and people do so many things to find soulmates and all that. Uh, my understanding is your soulmate is inside. You first discover your soulmate inside, and then everything has to manifest one day or other in the physical plane if you start believing in that. So if you really believe you have discovered your soulmate inside, one day it happens to your life. So soulmate happens. We can't look for a soulmate outside.
Right.
Yeah.
That I think is a very empowering line to be given, because it just changes the whole paradigm. Because, like you said, we have been taught from childhood that there is one soulmate somewhere out there for all of us. And I think that's one reason why most of us are very unhappy in our relationships, because we have this
Yeah.
image of a soulmate. And when we find a partner, we are like, oh, this doesn't match with my image. Or we try to change that person into the image that we have. Whereas if, as you say, we look at ourselves as a soulmate, what is our inner soulmate? And we kind of, merge with that person, our inner soulmate, the whole paradigm changes. Wow, that is so interesting. So, tell me, since your transition into your current gender, what was the most empowering thing for you? Because for me, more than the gender, it is about you coming to a stage where you accepted who you are and you openly owned yourself. So, once you owned who you are, the Aditya that you were, how did that empower you?
So currently, if you ask in the present moment, what is more empowering is when you're talking about this story, it feels like a past life, somewhere in the past. It doesn't belongs to me anymore. It's just like a story. I am who I am in the present moment, right? So that's a consciousness, that's an energy, which I feel is the always the dance of the energy and the consciousness that's happening inside me. That's the present Aditya. And the story is said to, if it is because I started telling my story definitely to empower myself, but then one day it happens that you have to drop that also. So currently, maybe I'm in a stage to drop that and say, this is what my reality is. I'm a consciousness. I'm more than gender. I am, I'm more than this masculine, feminine, and I'm in an ecstatic state. I do a workshop called Bliss Shop. That's what I tell people. Bliss can be used to heal. We feel that always we have to go to the root of the problem and dig things and know things. But
Mm-hmm.
pure ecstasy, just living pure ecstasy can be so healing, right? Living in bliss can be so healing. So my current reality is to live in bliss and just let go of the past, let go of the future, and be what you are in the present moment.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I I mean, I think there's so many nuggets of wisdom that you're giving today, starting from loving yourself, respecting for who you are, and then inner soulmate. And now what you said, that everything is an energy. So what happened in your past was just a story, a different form of energy that needs to be dropped. And so, which means that as individuals, we always have a choice. We always have a choice as to what energy to pick up, what story to write for us,
Exactly.
right? But
Yes.
to live past story which we are born with. So, what would you
Yes.
say to people out there who still struggle with their past, who are still living in the past stories?
So first start, recoding. You have to rescript your story. We have to all rescript our story, which I started with, and start putting, whenever we are saying our story, let us say with a little thank you and gratitude. I mean, initially we may say that there were pain, and we were using pain to say our story, right? But even when we are saying out pain, then we can say that this pain taught me this. So you are going into this gratitude way, and finally you will find your whole story has turned into a gratitude one day. And
Right.
one day when you will be opening up your heart, yeah, you will open up your heart and you say your story with your full heart, you will be able to let go of your story one day, your past one day.
So, I'll just read a paragraph from the thing which he had written, the poem, which is addressed to the society, because I think that encapsulates exactly what he's saying right now. So, he's actually written one of the paragraphs as, Dear Society, to be honest, you made me want to hide myself from your judgmental ways. I thank you for that, for motivating me to believe in myself and not worry about what you think of me. You made me fear for myself. You made me retreat. You made me reflect. You made me see the need to find the strength to fight your prejudices and cruelty. Thank you also for becoming more accepting slowly. And thank you so much for all your judgments. I think that's exactly what you're saying here right now.
Yes, yes. So the more the pain is, the more we are holding the light also. So we need to believe in our light, and the more we are putting our attention to the light, the pain has to fade. So it cannot stay. Yes.
So it's about learning the lessons and moving on towards what we wanted, where we wanted.
Yes, yes, yes. Most of the um, modalities I find is people are brooding over to their past still. They're not able to leave it. They're not able to let go. They're not able to leave. Right. So we it it is just to understand. It's just a quick question. If I have to ask, are you choosing or are you choosing dark? It's just simple question. If you say you are choosing light, your story cannot exist. It cannot exist. So if you're choosing darkness, only your story can exist. So it's a choice.
Right. No, yeah. See, again, one of your nuggets, right? That you decide what you. I think it's an important question to ask to each of us. What do we want in life, darkness or lightness? And accordingly, you choose your story. Are interested. So for people who have joined in later, he has actually written a story which consists of thank you notes, in which he has weaved his whole story from childhood to today. So I will read small paragraphs from there till Aditya joins us back. So it starts with, Dear Daddy, I wanted to thank you for not being supportive. It has made me stronger. I understand why you couldn't handle my situation and forced yourself to ignore my psychological conflicts. I understand. Thank you for that. Yeah, dear mommy, thank you for not being able to muster the strength to voice your opinion in Daddy's Raj. It helped me find my voice. I understand your compulsions. You made me ask myself questions by being unable to answer any of them. Today, I am more thoughtful because of you. Thanks. So I was asking you, so what does, because I know that spirituality has played a big role in your life, helping you to accept yourself and transition. So what does spirituality mean to you personally?
Okay. So spirituality, as I say, I don't see anything which is non-spiritual ever in life. So everything has a spiritual aspect. That's what I have always visualized life with. That I don't see anything which is non-spiritual.
Okay.
So maybe when I have that kind of approach to look at life from a place where everything is sacred, that was maybe now when I'm talking, maybe that was the driving force behind everything, which could uh, guide me into the right path. And when I say right path, that means we feel centered, we feel aligned, we are in love, we are able to love ourselves, we are able to share love with others, right? So that's the definition that I can give about myself, that I am a lover, that I am in love with myself and I am in love with others. And I think that is spirituality. I mean, that is the simple definition of spirituality. And that has helped me come out of everything.
Right. No, that's so true, because I personally believe that spirituality is a very personal concept. Each of us look at it very differently. And that's why when we starting this
Yes.
series of this, wellness stories, what works for you may not work for me, something different works for me, something else may work for somebody else. So it's about finding what works for us. But I would say from my experience that spirituality is about going within you and knowing more about who you are as an individual. So that's nice. So if you had to give a message to all of us out there who are, struggling with some kind of acceptance from society in any of the things, it may not be necessarily gender identity, but it could be in any other areas of our life. What message would you give them for them to, move more towards acceptance and not really caring about what society tells them?
So, two ways. First is the internal acceptance. You see where you are rejecting yourself. There has to be some inner rejection, right? So that is one that we need to look at. And then we need to stand up for ourselves in the society. I mean, society is created by us. It's again a larger mind. It's a larger, like this inner mind, we have an external mind, and that's external mind is the society. So I feel we have to first, fix the inner mind and then fix the external mind. And that can only happen when you take responsibility, love yourself, you start standing for yourself. And once that you do, then the acceptance will come, both internal and external.
Right. What, in my experience, when I speak to people, one of the reasons they say it's difficult to truly accept who we are and stand up for ourselves is that if we do that, it creates conflicts with people around us and the society in general. So how?
I think it's the opposite way.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel it's the opposite way, because when we are not clear with others, it creates the conflict. Standing up for ourselves from the clarity. That's the reason I said first, look into the internal clarity. See, when you are so clear inside, when you are so sure inside, and you are shining inside all your light, and then you stand up with the light. Majority of the time, what we are standing up is with the ego, and then the conflicts happen. When you stand up with your light, inner light, then there is no reason for conflict. You are clear, and it's like a see-through. There, like a conflict. There cannot be a conflict.
Okay, so you say that as we get inner clarity, it also gives us the confidence to stand up for ourselves, and it clears the path.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. And people who are have conflict, they want to. We feel that they will go away from us. Let them go away, because they don't resonate with us. We are not. They are not like worthy to be in our lives. We have to maybe change our tribe. Sometimes we have to change our tribe, and you have to find your tribe where you belong. We don't belong to all tribes. We don't have to belong everywhere. Right? So you can find your tribe that
I think that's the key thing, because as human beings, we're generally taught from childhood that, सबको खुश रखो, सबके साथ बना के रखो, kind of a thing. So I think that
yes.
That is, as you
yes.
said, it's okay to lose some people from your tribe if they don't resonate with you.
Yes, I was scared after my gender surgery and my sex change. I will not be accepted by my family. I will lose my family. I'll lose my relatives. I'll lose my friends. But when I did that and I stood up for myself with all my clarity, everybody accepted. From my grandmother stood up for me. I mean, she was the first one to stand up for myself. And she's told all the family members to just shut up and let him follow his heart. She was the first one to support me. And my mother and my sister, everybody stood up for me. Right? And people, my friends who really knew me, they are there with me. And there are people also, who don't accept, and they are quiet, or they have taken their own corner, and it is respectable. Like, I respect their choice doing that. Yeah. And I found so many like-minded people. I found my tribe.
Right. No, yeah, that's an interesting thing, finding your own tribe. I think that sorts out a lot of issues in your life, finding your own tribe. Yeah. So while we are continuing this, if anybody has any questions which they would like to ask Aditya, please put it in comment, and he's here to answer. Okay, so hats off to your grandmom. Yeah, I think what Neelu is saying is something which all of us are feeling, like, for your grandmom to stand by you, I mean, especially coming from a generation that she came, I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing. So, yeah. So, anyway, so many small pieces of wisdom that you have thrown in today's discussion, Aditya, that it's been amazing. It's been such a learning experience for you. So, words or messages, Aditya, which you have for people who are listening to us or who would listen to us, who would see this video, let's say, in the coming weeks, based on your journey.
My message is follow your heart, follow your bliss.
Right.
And this will take you wherever, it will take you to your life purpose, whatever you are born for.
Nice, nice. So that was Aditya for you sharing his very, very private and personal life journey with us. And in case anybody is interested, he is doing a workshop this weekend, a 2-day workshop, Saturday, Sunday, on inner soulmate. It's, I think, something where he talks about how to find your inner soulmate, how do you stop your projections on others, which he spoke about. Like, how we tend to look for acceptance to the outside world and not really look at inside. So it's a 2-day workshop. In case anyone is interested, just ping us and we'll forward you the details. In fact, if you want to hear him talk, there's also a video. He had recently done a talk in Hindi on Ardhanareshwar, which is about, how do you balance your inner masculine and feminine energy, because Ardhanareshwar is all about Shiva and Shakti. That's also available. And there are a lot of other things that he keeps doing. So just ping us and we'll put you in touch with him. And if there's anything that you need, we can take it forward. The workshop, if you're interested, let us know. But thank you so much, Aditya, for being with us here. This is our first episode of Soul Food Wellness Stories, and we are hoping that, yes, it has touched certain souls. For everybody who's here, next week we will have another storyteller called Pura. The whole story of hers is around self-respect, self-dignity, and how she fought society for what she thought was something right for her, and how she found it through her way of spirituality, which is honestly very different from Aditya's story. But that's the whole point of this series, to look at different facets of spirituality and how it helps each of us. So thank you so much to everybody who's come here today, and thank you, Aditya. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And let the light be with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.